How true is the monster Jeffrey Dahmer story? Facts versus fiction. Number 1. The probation officer. According to the show, Dahmer was sentenced to a year in prison with 5 years probation in 1989. However, in lieu of a longer sentence, Judge William D. Gardner ordered Dahmer to seek counseling, citing his belief that psychiatric treatment would be more beneficial. Dahmer was granted work release by the judge, allowing him to continue working at the Ambrosia chocolate factory. He was also required to register as a sex offender and meet with Donna Chester, a probation officer. Chester, who was not portrayed in Monster, began meeting with Dahmer twice a month after his early release in March 1990. Apart from a few last-minute cancellations by Dahmer late in 1990, the two kept their schedule, according to probation logs. Chester even interviewed Dahmer in his apartment 7 days before his arrest, which means Chester interviewed Dahmer while there was a 57-gallon barrel of hydrophilic acid in the freezer, Jeremiah Weinberger's head in the freezer, and at least 4 skulls stashed somewhere in the apartment. Following Dahmer's arrest, police discovered 11 skulls, severed genitals, 3 headless torsos, 2 hearts, and a complete skeleton. Chester's logs detail meetings with Dahmer that lasted anywhere from 10 minutes to an hour in a lawsuit filed against the city of Milwaukee. She stated in an affidavit that she tended to spend more time in counseling with Dahmer than average for her clients, talking about Dahmer's internal struggles with his sexuality and turbulent family relationships. Number 2. Milwaukee bathhouses. Gay bathhouses established themselves as fully licensed businesses in the 1960s and 1970s, springing up across the country from San Francisco to New York. Some provided gyms, saunas, private rooms for rent, social events, and became popular among some of America's most celebrated celebrities, including Truman Capote. Dahmer frequents a Milwaukee bathhouse in the show, where he first experiments with slipping unsuspected men Mickey Fins so he can manipulate their docile bodies during sex. This anecdote takes place at Club Bath Milwaukee in 1986, which summer manager Bradley Babish barred Dahmer from after receiving complaints from patrons about a tall guy named Jeffrey, who was the last person they remember seeing before waking up naked, robbed, and raped. According to Babish, he got them drunk and then drugged them. He then added, "They just got sick and nobody ever wanted to press charges." Number 3. Milwaukee police officers John A. Balcerzak and Joseph T. Gabrish. The portrayal of Milwaukee police officers John A. Balcerzak and Joseph T. Gabrish, the two officers who handed victim Konorak Sinsazamphone back to Dahmer after he had escaped, is perhaps one of the most contentious aspects of the series. In comparison to police reports, bystander testimony, and the subsequent internal investigation, the scene in the series is spot on. It even paraphrases Balcerzak when he says, "10-4, my partner will be deloused at the station in a moment," a key phrase uttered by media critics following Dahmer's arrest, demonstrating Milwaukee's casual attitude toward the gay community at the time. The two officers are suspended with pay in the show after Police Chief Philip Areola is chastised by the media for his response to misconduct. When Dahmer's crimes were revealed, both officers, as well as another named Rick Porubkin, were suspended. After winning a lawsuit against the city, a judge reinstated them in 1994. In episode 9 of the limited series, officers John Balcerzak and Joseph Gabrish were recognized as Officers of the Year. That would never happen in real life. Both officers were reinstated in 1994 after being suspended following Dahmer's arrest, but they were never named Officer of the Year. Balcerzak rose through the ranks to become the president of the Milwaukee Police Officers Union. Balcerzak stated in his first interview, months after Dahmer's arrest, "At the time, with the information we had, to this day I think we did the appropriate thing, the best that we could." Following their reinstatement, both men had long careers as police officers, with Balcerzak serving as president of the Milwaukee Police Association from 2005 to 2009, before retiring in 2017. Number 4. Glenda Cleveland didn't live in the Oxford apartments, and she never met Dahmer. The persona of Nicey Nash Glenda Cleveland is a key figure in Dahmer's arrest. Cleveland is Dahmer's neighbor in the series, and their interactions result in numerous police complaints. Cleveland never met Dahmer in real life, and she never lived in Dahmer's building. She actually lived in the next building over. She did, however, make several attempts to notify local police and the FBI of Dahmer's actions. On May 27, 1991, Cleveland's daughter Sandra Smith and niece Nicole Childress witnessed a disoriented 14-year-old Konorak Sinsazamphone fleeing from an alley near Dahmer's apartment. Cleveland called the cops, who arrived and eventually returned the teen to Dahmer's custody before he was killed. Dahmer told the cops that Sinsazamphone, who was visibly inebriated, was his 19-year-old boyfriend who was drunk. Number 5. Dahmer fed sandwiches to his neighbor, Pamela Bass. The woman who lived next door to Dahmer was Pamela Bass. She liked him a lot and didn't have many doubts about what he was doing. She was not cast in Netflix's limited series. Following Dahmer's arrest, Bass confirmed that Dahmer was friendly and sharing. She even admitted to him feeding her sandwiches. When the brutality of Dahmer's crimes were revealed, Bass expressed her concern that they may have contained human flesh. "I've probably eaten somebody's body parts," she admitted in the film The Jeffrey Dahmer Files. Number 6. Jeffrey Dahmer was pulled over by the police when he had human remains in his car. According to Dahmer's testimony obtained by the New York Times, he was stopped by cops after killing his first victim, 18-year-old Stephen Hicks, in 1978. Despite swerving while driving at 3 a.m. with garbage bags of Hicks' remains in his back seat, he persuaded the officers to let him go.